China's had a successful test launch of their new Long March 5B rocket. Dr. Brad Tucker and I discuss in this Talkin' Science Uncut Story of the Week.
Across Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts and YouTube, this is Talking Science with Dr. Brad Tucker and Matt Miller.
Alrighty, our last story of the week, and I mean that was the high point there. Tom Cruise at the space station. It's going to be epic, whatever happens. But something also epic from a scientific standpoint. Another country has had a successful launch of a heavy rocket that's going to be getting humans and equipment into orbit and beyond. China's Long March 5B rocket.
That's right. We highlighted this the other week or last week when it was getting ready to be launched and rolling out to the launch pad. And it did. Long 5B is their big rocket, the one that they need to take both humans and human capsules and stuff like that, and also the parts of their space station up. And, it's good to see it. We've talked about India's ambitions and other ambitions. This is a big step in the right direction to be an independent big space player, not just for launching satellites, but humans and that sort of thing.
And the next step for China is their own space station. They're going to be putting one up, presumably with these new rockets, and crewing it as well. So they're sort of running in parallel with NASA and ESA.
Yeah, look, I kind of view them as being 20 years ago in terms of ambitions with the U.S. and Russia, and not in a negative way. The U.S. and Russia wanted to set up their own thing first. And U.S. built Skylab, Russia built Mir, as we just talked about. They want to build their own launch vehicle, their own rocket, their own space station. And it's not that they're trying to not collaborate. They are collaborating in lots of ways. But they want to be fully independent in a way that the other large space powers have, and in order to grow this. And maybe this means then that if they can establish this, that they get a bigger share in the space station if they want, when it's renewed in 2028, or looking towards more activity involvement with the moon, for instance. And it's also about building expertise in-house, right? It's about that expertise and of skill sets and engineers and scientists, and not only know how to do it, but can do it.
China is no slouch when it's coming to their space program. They successfully landed a rover on the far side of the moon, the first country to do that ever. And they're really the rate of progression with China is probably on par with the US and Russia during the Cold War, I guess.
Yeah, it really is like that period a number of decades ago where they're pumping lots of money and resources in, and you're seeing what happens, just like what the US and Russia did. And it's not that they're necessarily playing catch up or trying to compete. That's just how you grow a space program. It's the same thing with SpaceX, right? They started small, then were able to get money and pumping lots of projects and people and developing it. And same with Blue Origin and the private companies. That's how you grow. They want to be ambitious. And I think the more countries involved in space and the more activity happening, the better, because people can touch on and do different things, like, as you said, landing on the far side of the moon, which is still a dramatically huge, impressive achievement.
Absolutely fantastic. We'll watch this space with China. The next steps for them are still to come. It might be a few weeks or a couple of months before we learn what their next phase is, but I think it's going to be getting equipment up to start with, and then starting to get that crewed and get that space station built. Yeah, look, they know they need to get up their space station in a few parts, and they want to get crew and people up as well. And we've talked about India doing kind of a similar parallel. There's a little bit of not a competition, but another race going on between another wave of big spacefaring nations. So it's an exciting area to watch.